Welcome, everyone. This is episode 34 of Video Game Collectors on Call. Today, I'm joined by Carl from Retro Gaming Zone. Carl, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, good. So thanks for being here. I'm glad we got it to work and everything with your schedule. So I'm excited to talk about your
Yeah,
collection. So
awesome.
Retro Gaming Zone. I always like to start a lot of the time, and yours is pretty self-explanatory, but maybe there's a story behind it. How you came up with the name Retro Gaming Zone.
Actually, that's a good question. It's not one that I'm asked often, so I'm particularly excited to go into it.
Yeah.
Um, I really do like the Twilight Zone, and something about like I got into retro gaming in like 2016, and I wanted to make an Instagram to just talk about the games that I was playing at the time, and it just happened to seem like a good name. Like instead of Twilight Zone, Retro Gaming Zone, it kind of just
Okay.
took off.
Gotcha. Do you also like the newer sort of Twilight show, which is Black Mirror, I guess they call it?
I haven't watched it. I've
Haven't seen
particularly
it.
just
Okay.
just focused on the stuff from like the 50s and 60s.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Very cool. So you said 2016 is when you started retro gaming, but what about in general? When did you start, playing games, loving to play games?
If I had to go back, I was a kid, maybe like 3 or 4 years old. My cousins had just gotten a Super Nintendo, and it was at my Aunt Debbie's house. Like whenever I'd go there, like I'm like, oh, I can play Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
and like my favorite games were on Super Nintendo. Turtles in Time, Final Fight, all that stuff I played with my cousins. They had an NES, but the Super Nintendo just seemed so much cooler. Like so many more colors, the pixels look better.
Mm, yeah.
So I would say I probably started around like 1993 with the Super Nintendo.
Okay. I think everyone has
Yeah,
a has an Aunt Debbie that had a video game system that they went
yeah,
over
man.
and played. That got their start. What
Yep.
about when you started collecting? So when did it turn into now I'm gonna save everything and collect?
Okay. All right. So I was as a kid, I had a Super Nintendo, then I had a PS1, and I never. A lot of my friends would often like trade everything to GameStop to get like. I remember my one buddy traded all his Super Nintendo stuff to GameStop to get the Dreamcast when that came out, and I was really never big into that. I like to keep everything. I just
Hmm,
put it in the basement and just I went on to the PS1, but I had the Nintendo in the basement, or I went on to the
yeah.
Xbox, but I had the PS1 in the basement. So I would say like in terms of collecting. It was kind of like in my blood since the beginning, just keeping what I had. But once I, kind of got like a real job and had real, like, money to burn a little bit, I would go on eBay and buy like a few Super Nintendo games that I remember like something I wanted to play but never got as a kid. So I
Yeah.
would say probably from 2016 when I made the Instagram is when I really started heavy buying like lots of games and yeah, just really collecting and saving then.
And how many do you have currently? Do you know the number?
Oh man, if I had to guess, so a lot of guys keep track of their stuff with apps. I
Uh-huh.
try, but it's just so hard.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I would say between around like maybe 4 to 5 thousand games or
Okay.
so.
And so you don't use an app like price charting or any of the Game Eye stuff to keep track?
I have so I was when I was going for like a full 64 set.
Yep.
But just on the day to day, I don't. I should. Before I had this game room set up, I was buying duplicates all the time, and all my stuff
Yeah,
was in
that's what
like
I figured.
bins.
Yeah.
But now that I have it like out in the open, I can just quickly check. Oh, I don't have that. All right, claim. So it's a little bit easier. I would like to get it all in an app, but it's just the time, like the time it takes to inventory everything. I don't really have it with the kids running around downstairs.
Yeah. And you mentioned a word a second ago. You said claim. So you're big into the. You also buy from claim sales, and you also do your own
Oh,
sales, correct?
100%, 100%. So,
Okay.
um, I started when I first made the Instagram in 2016, there were a few accounts I followed. A bunch of them were like claim sale pages. So I would start just claiming stuff. And that's how I grew my initial collection, just through claim sales from other people. And then I was just telling people at work or in my day-to-day life, like, hey, like I'm collecting old games. And everyone has like a pile of games in their basement or in their attic somewhere. And they're like, yeah, I think I have like a PlayStation with some games if you want it. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I
Nice.
would just I would just take what I didn't have or what I wanted and I would just claim sale the rest. So I started having my own claim sales and it's just evolved since then.
And you had mentioned that's kind of a way that you are able to purchase more games for your own collection, right? So
Yeah,
games are
absolutely.
expensive. So
Yeah,
it's
it's crazy how expensive some of these retro games have gotten. in a sense, it kind of like discourages me because it makes it hard for people to get into it. It really like encourages emulation, which is fine, but dude, there's nothing like having like the actual cartridge in your hand.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So being that I was able to buy a collection, I would keep like three or four things and then I would claim sale the rest and make my money back, you know? So it's kind of
Hmm.
like I wasn't really using my own funds to grow my collection. I was able to grow my collection via claim sales and really break even at the end of the day, which is all I really wanted.
So for those people who are watching and maybe they're not familiar with claim sales, tell me how that works exactly.
Okay,
It's pretty
so
simple.
to
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's simple, but it can get pretty crazy in terms of like the competition levels. So say like I'll post a post of say six Super Nintendo games, and I'll put the pictures of the games. I'll take pictures of each one, front, back, and top. And if it's something like that looks good to you, the price is in the post description. And if you want it, then you just say like claim Turtles in Time. And if you're the first person that says claim Turtles in Time, then it's yours. But pretty much I would DM you at the end of the sale and you'd give me like your shipping information. I'd give you, my PayPal or Venmo or whatever works for you in terms of
Hmm.
payment wise, and then I ship it out to you. So that's kind of how the long and short of claim sales work. If you're second, like a lot of times there'll be someone who claims like for a game, and then 2 seconds later someone claims the same game. So it can get pretty crazy in terms of competition. But sometimes people will, the first person who claims will be like, "Oh, I have that game already. I don't need it. Go to the backup claim." So there's still a chance you can get that game even if you claimed it second or third.
Have you ever been burned on that before with, someone claims something, maybe they don't pay you or the payment
Um,
doesn't go through or the
you know what? I would say nothing comes to mind. I'm sure it's
Mhm.
happened a few times, but
Mhm.
in the grand scheme of things, if that happens, I'll just post it again in the next claim sale for maybe a few dollars less, and it'll go.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know.
Yeah, let's get back to your collection a little bit. So, what do you collect a little bit of everything or are there things you don't collect?
So I do collect a little bit of everything. I have a full N64 set, so that's my main thing. But Super Nintendo was, as we talked about, that was my first system, so I have a soft spot for that. Um, in terms of things I don't collect, I'm not really into Atari. I feel like for some reason there's just something about like Nintendo. So
Hmm.
I tend to collect from the NES onward. Um, I do have a little bit of everything. Some
But you also do
things.
PlayStation and Xbox too, right? Not just Nintendo. So,
Oh yes, yes, yes,
okay,
yes. So
okay,
PlayStation, Xbox also. Um, if there were some systems that I don't really have big collections for, I would say the 3DO, maybe I have like two games for it, or the
okay,
Jaguar, I have like four games for that.
okay.
But I have a little bit of everything for Sega, Xbox, and Nintendo systems.
So you mentioned you have a complete N64 set. So how long did that take you to do?
You know what? It would have taken me a lot less time. Here's the thing, right? I never ever wanted to collect a full set of anything because my game room is small. I'm in New
Yeah.
York. I don't have a ton of space. This is like this room I'm in. It's technically a bedroom, but not legally because there's no closet. So it's the smallest room
Okay.
in the house. When we got this house, my wife was like, "Listen, you can have that small bedroom
you
upstairs
you
as
get
your
the smallest
office."
room. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Coming from living in Queens in an apartment with all my stuff in bins, I was like, this is awesome. I can finally put my stuff on the wall and have all my
There you
stuff
go.
out. So it worked out. Um, but in regards to like, what was the question? I'm sorry,
How
bro.
long? That's okay. How long it took you for the N64
Oh,
to complete
cool.
it?
So I never went for a full set, but if I would have gone for it since I started the clam sales, it would have happened sooner. But I have a really
Hmm.
good friend named Henry who had about 75% of the set, and he was clearing house. He was moving. He's like, I can just emulate this. I want to get rid of the cartridges. You're one
Wow.
state over in New York. He was in New Jersey. So combining what I got from him and what I already had, I was probably short 30 games out of the
Wow.
296 full set. So I was like, at this
Okay.
point, dude, I just got to go for it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games I was missing were like sports games.
Oh, yeah. Very easy to
So
find.
yeah, those are easy to
Yeah.
find. I mean, I was missing. I had Super Bowling. I had Worms Armageddon already.
Hmm.
I was missing Clay Fighters, and I was missing There's like some spacey racing game that the name has escaped me right now, but I was missing that one too. So I was missing only like three of the big titles. So I just kind of saved up for like a few months for each and just scooped them
Okay.
off. I found like super deals on eBay and scooped those up. But that took probably like a year after I got the set from him to fully finish it.
What was the last one you got? Do you remember?
Oh man, Aiden Chronicles. It was a black
Okay.
cartridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a game I never even heard of or played
Yeah, I've
before, but it was just
not heard of it. Yeah.
yeah, it's a black cartridge. It's called Aiden Chronicles. I haven't played it yet, but it was actually donated to me by a member of the community, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. So,
Yeah.
so why N64? I know you talked about SNES was the big one that you really loved, but N64 is the one you chose to get a full set. So,
Um, so I had a PS1 as a kid. All my friends had N64s, right? I don't know why. So the kid downstairs from me had a PlayStation, which is why I think I wanted one. So me and him had PS1s, but everyone else had an N64. Everyone else is playing GoldenEye. Everyone's playing Mario 64, Rogue Squadron, Smash Bros. And I mean, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are great, but I really missed out on the 64 era. And to make things
gotcha.
worse, my sister had an N64. She's 3 years younger than me, but my parents were really big on you can't touch her 64. She's not playing your PS1. So like she never even had like the games I want to play. Like she had like these like girly Barbie games and
Wow.
it was like right there in front of me, but I had no games to play for it.
Yeah.
So it always seemed like forbidden fruit. So that's kind of why I think
Okay.
I went for that one.
That makes sense. What's your favorite N64 game?
Oh man, gotta be GoldenEye, bro. 100%.
GoldenEye? Okay, so
Yeah.
I've had this debate many times with people. So GoldenEye versus Perfect Dark. You're
Oh,
GoldenEye all the way?
I'm GoldenEye on
Huh?
64.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound crazy, but my favorite Xbox 360 game is Perfect Dark Zero.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it got horrible
That's
reviews when that came out, but the multiplayer before Call of Duty, before that whole era,
uh
Perfect Dark Zero was the shooter for 360, and I had a great time playing that.
okay. So you have a lot of games, obviously, several thousand. How do you go about displaying those? Are they grouped by console and alphabetical?
So they were alphabetical when I set the room up. Since then they're quasi alphabetical. You know,
Okay.
I'm just trying to fit things so I can fit things. But
Yeah.
they're pretty organized. I can show you if you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Let me see if I can flip the camera around. I don't know why it's not letting me flip the camera around now, but hang on. Here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think once we start recording, but I mean,
So I have the NES stuff bunched in there,
okay.
and Super Nintendo.
Some
Then we
Sega
got the
CD.
yeah Sega CD, Genesis, PS1. It's all sort of organized. Like I have the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox in that corner there.
Yeah.
It's all more or less organized. It's mostly alphabetized, but not entirely. I have three kids, so they come in here and pick games to
Uh,
play, and they don't
okay.
always end up where they came from. So
It looks like it's similar to me though. When you're collecting a stance, you take if it's a disc game, you get it complete in box, and if it's a cartridge
100%.
like an NES, you just get the cartridge. With the
Yeah.
exception of Sega Genesis, because those plastic cases are very nice, so you
Yes.
have to have
Yes.
those.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not too much of a heckler when it comes to the manual for like
Hmm.
PS2 or Xbox or GameCube, but I prefer to
Hmm.
have it. But as long as it's not disc only, then I'm happy
Yeah. Okay.
for those ones.
Do you ever buy anything outside of claim sales? I know you spend a lot of time doing that. Is there a store that in town you like to buy, or do you use eBay or something?
Yeah, so there's a really good retro game store by me. I'm in Long Island in Nassau County. So there's Retro Games and Toys of Long Island. They're in Levittown. Awesome group of people that run it. Really nice family. They have a game store upstairs, and then in the back they have like a bunch of VHS tapes, which is another sort
Oh,
of
cool.
quasi hobby of mine. So now that I'm on Long Island, that's where I go. But whenever I'm in Brooklyn, like visiting my in-laws, because my wife's from Brooklyn, um, Brooklyn Game Shack or Brooklyn Video Games are my two go-to spots all the time.
Okay. All right. Very cool. You said you don't use price charting, so I'm curious, how do you determine for yourself if you're getting a good price? Do you use it still for that to check the prices, or?
No, I do use price charting as
Okay.
a reference, but I'll look more so at like current eBay listings, and if the price is like at or below the cheapest comparable eBay price,
Okay.
that's really how I gauge it.
Okay. Gotcha. Um, I think you have some stuff to show, right? Is
Yeah,
there, or
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to get up and walk around, whatever you need to do. But I think, if you want to show some cool stuff in your collection, now's a great time for it.
Awesome, awesome. So, I mentioned Turtles in Time was my
Hmm.
probably my favorite all-time Super Nintendo game.
It's a good
This
one.
is pretty common. It's just the not for resale Turtles in Time. So this is the
Oh,
demo copy that was
oh yeah.
shown in stores before that was released. So that's something cool. There's a few NFR. There you go.
Yeah, see, yeah, we both got it.
There's a few of those. This is the only one that I have, but
I
it's
have
cool
that
to have it.
one and Donkey Kong Country, and I have NCAA basketball. Those are the
Nice.
three I have, and then I have a couple for N64 as well.
Yeah, I have a few for 64. I think I have a Star Fox, if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken, and something
okay,
else, but I can't
yeah,
remember. And then, so apart from Turtles in Time, when I was at my Aunt Debbie's house, I would play Final Fight all the time.
uh huh.
And I got Final Fight 2 and I got Final Fight 3, which are both pretty expensive. But I never thought that I'd get this. So this is Final Fight Guy, which I
Yep,
actually got
that's
from
good.
from Instagram, which was a
Wow,
blockbuster
it
exclusive back
was,
in
yeah.
in the 90s. Something I never thought I'd have an authentic copy of. But it's cool that I have all the Final Fight games now, so I'm pretty happy to have that.
I actually don't have three, so I have Final Fight One, Final Fight Two, and Final Fight Guy, but I don't have Final
Hmm.
Fight Three, so I need to pick that one up still. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
yeah.
have it on Sega CD also, I think, but I think I'm
Okay,
missing the manual, but I have just the disc in the
yeah,
case.
very nice,
Yeah.
very nice. What else do you have?
So I got to get up for these. So this,
Perfect, perfect.
yeah, man.
I know. We definitely want to see those console units you have over there with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
PlayStation stuff. Yeah.
So, the first one I ever got was this. This is the PS4
PS4.
kiosk. So, a
Okay.
good friend of mine, Kelly, used to manage a GameStop in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. She came to me one day. She's like, "Yo, do you want this kiosk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. If I could fit it in my small game room."
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to plop it in front of the full 64 set there. But that was the first kiosk that I ever had. Um, she actually messaged me about it while my wife was giving birth to my second born.
Gosh.
So it's crazy how in my
Decisions.
head, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
kiosk or human. Um, but me and my daughter play that to play like PS4 games on, and
Did
then
it
my all what's up?
did it come with the TV, or you bought the TV separately and put it on
No,
there?
so
That's
actually, it came with everything, man. It came with the
oh,
TV.
wow.
It came with. There's like a dummy system behind this sticker here. I don't know if maybe you can see it in there. There's a dummy system back there.
Okay.
It
Okay.
came with the sidearms. It actually even came with the TV remote for it,
Oh, wow.
which is pretty wild.
That's awesome.
Um, it came with the keys to open it up. Totally complete from like head to toe here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was really happy
That's
with
awesome.
that. Yeah,
And
and
and you
then
got that for free, did you say, or you still had to pay her for it?
so I got it for free.
Wow. That's amazing.
I gave her, she had given me some other stuff with it. I think like it was like $200 worth of games, but I was like, "What do you want for the kiosk?" She was like, "No, it's gonna go in the trash tonight. Just take it." And I was like,
Wow.
"Okay."
Wow.
I did get a $50 red light camera ticket when I was going to pick it up. Maybe
Oh, okay.
it cost me $50,
Were
but
you worried someone was going to get to it before you?
no, she held it for me. Actually, it's
Oh,
funny.
okay.
She mentioned 2 months later, she hit me back up and she's like, "Hey, I have another one if you want it." And I was like, "I don't even have space for the first one that I
Wow.
have, so I can't."
Yeah.
I would love to,
That's
but I
crazy.
can't.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. And then my favorite, probably my most favorite thing in this entire room
Yeah.
is
Let's
this right
see.
here, man, the Xbox kiosk.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I remember as a kid in 2001. So I'm from New York, and
Hmm.
I don't want to like bring it down to a somber note, but I remember like really being super excited for like the Xbox launch, and like 9/11 happened in New York, and it was just a really rough time for us. But
Because
something
it came
about
out in
getting,
November that same year, right? It was
yeah,
November
yeah, man.
2001. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I had lost a cousin in 9/11, so like it was a really like sad time for us as a family, but something about getting this system on Christmas morning sort of really put a band-aid on everything and made me really be able to enjoy like life again.
Hmm.
And just dude, seeing this kiosk, like the neon lights on the side, the neon
Oh,
lights on
yeah.
the bottom, like
Oh, yeah. It's
it's
nice.
awesome, man. Like playing Halo on this is so freaking cool. Like I remember going to Toys R Us and seeing this in the store and just seeing Halo on it, and I'm like, I gotta play Halo, man. So
Did you get the
this
CRTV for that as well? CRT?
yeah.
Or was
So
that okay?
this is actually a JVC TV, but it's got a Microsoft badge on it. So a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
people don't really have the main TV that came with this. This is the TV that
Hmm.
was here.
Okay.
So all it was missing was an Xbox system, which is the typical black Xbox system, but I put the
Okay.
crystal one in there because it looked
Okay.
cooler.
Okay.
But yeah, it has both of the arms. It's like
Awesome.
fully complete. Yeah, man. I had to do a little rewiring to get the LEDs to work, but everything works fine.
Did not come from GameStop though, did it?
No. So
Okay.
there's a sticker on the side. It says like retail unit, like display unit number, whatever of whatever, but I don't know where it came from.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
I got it from my good friend J Bam, who's in Jersey. Once it over from me. He had a few kiosks, so he used to do like these. He used to rent out like these halls and put like 30 gaming kiosks in them and all CRTs and like rent it out for
Hmm.
like 20 bucks a head. You can go in that night and play games and all the kiosks. This
Yeah.
was one of the ones from his collection, and I was always telling him like, dude, I need that in my life. And I was telling him for years,
Yeah.
probably since 2018. And back in 2023, he hit me up. He was like, dude, he's like, if you want that kiosk, it's yours. Come take it for like, I think it was like $1,100 you wanted, which was a deal because it
Wow.
works
That's awesome. That's
entirely.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, man, he
What do
held
you?
it for me. I picked it up one Saturday,
Yeah.
and now it's here.
And you've got like a couple CRTs in there. It looks like two on each side of it as well, right? One on each side there.
Yeah, so this is my main one that I actually really do a lot of gaming on. This has
Okay.
my 64 on it,
Okay.
Super Nintendo, PS2, Dreamcast, 360, GameCube, and the Wii. And
Okay.
then on the other side's a little smaller one.
Huh.
This one here has Genesis 32X, TurboGrafx, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, and NES.
Okay. And is that looks like is that a Sega Master System on top or
There is a Master System on
yeah,
top. It also
just
is hooked up here, but
but
I
it's
don't really
okay.
use it too much because I have the adapter for the Genesis. So
Okay. What are some of the favorite games you've got in your collection, whether they be, for any system and if they're complete in box or loose?
if I had to pick some stuff,
Yeah.
I mean
It's a nice.
I'm gonna go 100% with Pokemon Red here, just
Okay.
because this was my this was my childhood, man. Like
Yeah.
playing in the car, with the Game Boy and the worm light and the
And it looked like
magnifying light.
you had you had blue as well, right? It looked like or
Yeah,
yeah.
blue's there, yellow's
Yeah.
there.
Yellow's there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never got into Pokemon. I never got into handheld games either. I had a Game Boy. I just didn't play it a ton.
right.
So, um,
Um, we already talked about Turtles in Time.
yeah, yeah. It's I wonder how like if you bought like 20 more games, where would they go? Is what I
So
like I'm
actually,
looking at your shelf and I'm like,
I I have that problem right now. So like
yeah.
this stuff down there
Oh, so you got like a ton
is
more Nintendo
is
64
all
consoles over there even.
yeah. So those are all the Fantastics all lined
Yeah.
up. So the way it is, these are all the Fantastics here, all lined up. They go across. Then I have some box 64 that goes across,
Okay.
some box Super Nintendo, and it's sort of covered just because I don't have any more space. So
Yeah.
I really need to start like picking and choosing some things for claim sales so I could get all that
Yeah.
stuff, on the shelves.
Oh, yeah. No, that's nice.
Um,
Yeah.
but in terms of games that I very much so enjoy,
Yeah.
um, dude, this is a good one, man. Tomorrow Never Dies on PS1.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Um,
good one.
I
Very,
thought
yeah.
I bought this thinking it was GoldenEye. It wasn't, but I also wasn't
No,
disappointed in
it's
it.
definitely not GoldenEye, but it's
You
good.
know,
It's good. There's all the James Bond games
Tony
are pretty
Hawk.
good. Tony
Yeah,
Hawk
yeah,
is
yeah.
classic. Yeah.
Tony
What
Hawk's
do you
classic.
what do you have the most of? Is it a Nintendo 64?
I would
Since you
say
have a complete
so.
set? Yeah.
Yeah, so the full set, I would say, yeah, it's there to wraps around the back of
And you it looks like
the
have
kiosk.
stickers on the top of each of those. Did you put those on there or did you purchase your games with them already on there?
No, I put the stickers on here. So it's the
Okay.
sticker and then the number like alphabetized what it is. So this one is 13.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can keep them in somewhat order
That's
to get
nice. Yeah,
easily
those
alphabetized and my kids pull them apart.
those stickers are really nice because unlike, NES and SNES, if you put the cartridge on its side, you don't know what it is unless you pull it
Yeah,
out and look. So
right.
I find that problem, but I also put the stickers on mine to help with that. So it's
Hmm.
very nice. Um, is there something in your collection, or not in your collection rather, that you're looking for currently that you really want, like your grail item, I guess you could say?
Man, that's a
Something
tough
that's
question, bro.
something that's on the horizon.
On the horizon.
Yeah. Or like
Um,
if money was not an issue, I would put this in my collection.
oh,
Number one.
dude, 100%. I would love to have a Game Boy Advance kiosk, just like the little
Okay.
like countertop GBA ones. That was the first like gaming system I bought with my own money, which was only like $100, but I was in like sixth or seventh grade, so it was a lot of money back
Hmm.
then.
Yeah.
But it's something small that I could fit in my game room without taking
But
up a
yeah,
ton of space,
small.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I
So the
actually was
form
in a.
factor
I went
works.
to. Yeah, I went to PAX and I was at a gaming store and this guy had one. He had a Game Boy Advance little kiosk there, not for sale though. He had a lot of stuff that was just for show, not for sale.
Right.
So, what about what is your most prized gaming possession? Is it the Xbox console or the Xbox
Um,
kiosk?
yeah, 100% the Xbox kiosk.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
my favorite. I know there are cooler kiosks out there. Like the Dreamcast one is awesome. The spacey looking N64 one's awesome. But dude, that Xbox
yeah.
kiosk, man, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. All right. There's a controversial topic that I often bring up, so I'm curious on your take because
I
I
already
always
know what
love
it
to hear
is.
people. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
What do you
man.
think of graded games? Yeah.
All right. So listen, I have a few.
Did
Actually, I
did you
have
prep
more than
for
a
this?
few.
Did you prepare
Um,
for this?
I so watching the
Yeah.
series on YouTube, like I knew
Yeah.
this was coming.
Yeah.
I have a few graded Pokemon games here. Nothing
Okay.
crazy. So listen, my stance is for me, there is something about collecting like sealed games. Just so man, I have
There's no judgment here. I respect
all
everyone's
right,
opinions. I can't
all
promise
right.
people in the comments will though. So just, it is what it is.
Can I go get one more thing real quick?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
absolutely.
to show you. All right, give me because
Absolutely.
this will
No,
play
no.
into this, right?
Okay,
All right,
that's
cool.
fine. Whatever you gotta do. Oh, he's actually leaving the room. That's never happened before. I think he can still hear me too. Maybe.
Absolutely, man.
Okay. Yep. All right. He's he's gonna bring something. It's maybe a graded game. Who knows? Maybe another kiosk.
All right. So, um, I do like to collect a few things sealed. So, like things that are like nostalgic to me, right? Like this is a sealed copy of Earthworm Jim 2. Okay.
Okay.
Um, Now the cool thing about this is that as a kid, we all went to Toys R Us before, like pre R Zone, right? If you remember what the price tickers look like,
Yeah.
this is a Toys R Us price tag from like 1994, 1995, whenever this came out. Actually, maybe a
Wow.
little later.
That seems
So
cheap. Was it on sale? What?
this was probably there was so I found a picture online of a bunch of Super Nintendo games with the same 14.97 price tag on them. I think once the 64 came out, they had a huge like clearance sale
Uh.
on Super Nintendo
Okay.
games. But
Okay.
back to the controversial topic of graded games.
Yeah.
This is something I enjoy having in my collection. It's something I will send to get graded just for the sake of having it protected. Like
Yeah.
I do
Okay.
like having graded games because I like having a few sealed things, but I want them to be protected. I'm not too big on the grades. Like a lot of guys are like, "Oh, it's a 9.9," which is cool, but
Yeah.
for me, it's more of just having it like protected, like in a
Yeah.
plastic case where I know nothing's gonna happen to it. I know it'll be okay. So for me, it's more about having the sealed item protected, where like my kids aren't gonna grab it and rip open the seal, and then I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for me, in terms of graded games, um, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of it, but I do understand it in a sense where it's like, okay, this is sealed. I want to make sure it stays sealed for the future.
So
So
you're
that's
not
kind of my
actively, yeah,
stance on it.
looking. You're not actively going out and buying graded games, right? Is what it sounds like.
I have a few, but
Yeah.
they're only if it's something that I would enjoy having a sealed copy of, then I'll
To protect it in a way so it
right.
stays
And
pristine and doesn't. Yeah.
I'm not looking for like a crazy like 10 out of 10 copy. Like I'm happy with like a 6 or a 7. Just if it's
Yeah.
something I want sealed, then I want to have it protected. So that's
Yeah.
I will buy a graded game here or there, not often, but it's just more for the protection aspect of it.
Now, what about we talked about graded games? What about reproduction cartridges? Now, you talked about your friend who works at GameStop. You showed a lot of Pokemon, and I know that's a big issue with them is that they're taking in. I don't know if you knew this or that they were at one point taking in a lot of cartridges that are
Hmm.
Pokemon, and
Hmm.
they're actually reproductions, and they're selling them as real because they don't know any better. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really cool with the whole reproduction thing. I mean, listen,
yeah.
if it's I do get it too, right? Because like Emerald is like a $200 game, and
Hmm.
who like what casual gamer who isn't really like hardcore into collecting is going to spend $200 on a 20-year-old game? Like
Hmm.
I understand like they it also might be ignorance too. Like someone who's not into the scene, the collecting scene might not really understand like, okay, this is a reproduction cartridge. They might not know what that means.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's if you're selling something like with the intent to pass it off as real, then that's obviously an issue. But
yeah, yeah.
um like I'm personally not a fan of reproduction games, but I do understand why people would buy them.
Not like a fan of purchasing them or just them existing in general, or
Purchasing them.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, very cool. All right, what's the? And I think maybe did we already say this? The rarest game you own? Did we talk about that already?
The rarest game that I own,
Yeah,
I can get it. It's controversial. It's not really a game,
it's not really
but
a game.
you
Oh
might know where
wow,
this is going already.
I don't actually. Let's see. I'm trying to see
Really?
what section of your collection you're in. Are you in the PS2?
Or in the discs, not
Yeah,
PS2 though.
okay. GameCube maybe?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Pokemon
okay,
box.
okay.
This is probably give or take. Seems like it's around a $2,000 game. But
Wow.
the cool thing is that it's complete in box and it comes with the memory card. But the awesome thing is that this copy still has the stickers for the memory card
Oh,
intact
very cool.
on the
Okay.
paper it came with. This isn't a lot of GameCube collectors who are going for full sets will bypass this because it technically isn't a game. It's a storage system that you can use with I think Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire to like just store the Pokemon you catch in the game. So it's
Okay.
not a game; it's more of like an application, so to speak.
Okay.
Um, but it's still pretty cool.
That is cool. I've
Something
never
I
seen
never thought
that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna get. Something I
Yeah.
never thought I was gonna get.
That's
But
awesome.
then my one guy came up to me like, "Hey, I have a friend who has like a box of games. He wants $400 for them all." And I was like, "All right, cool." And this is at the bottom of it. I had no idea this was even there. I
Well, because
think he
you got
tried to.
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he tried to sell it at like a yard sale because there's a price tag for like $150 on
150.
there.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
I mean, this is who knows when that was put on there. I just kept it there.
Wow. That's
Sort
awesome.
of tells the story. Um,
Very cool.
yeah,
What
man.
about
But
what about what are you currently playing through right now? Is there a game that you're trying to complete?
yeah. So I just beat uh, the last like month. I just beat Astrobot with my daughters, and
Okay.
personally, I beat the Resident Evil 4 remake on PS5.
Oh,
Right now I'm playing through Resident Evil 2. Then I want to move
okay.
to Resident Evil 3. Um, I beat Resident Evil 1 as a kid. I got sort of halfway through 2, never beat 2, never played 3, never played 4. As you
Okay.
know, I had the Xbox back in the day. I didn't have a GameCube, so I never played Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
So that was a real treat to beat. But I'm playing through Resident Evil 2 right now, and also I love the Ace Combat games.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm playing through Ace Combat, I think it's 7 on
Okay.
PS4. So those are
Okay.
the two games I'm playing right
I
now.
I've never played Astrobot. I don't have a PS5, but I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. If you've watched some of the episodes, you probably got that or know that. So Resident Evil 2, I'll tell you, is my favorite Resident Evil of them all. It's probably the best
Okay,
one.
awesome.
I didn't hear you mention Code Veronica. You have to
I
play
didn't
that
get there
one.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to play that one. Five, you can. I mean, you can play it if you want. If you want to play them all, five's the worst one in my opinion. But
That
if
was
you
on
really like
360,
four,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. If you really like four, so I have this discussion all the time. People who really like four will probably like five, six, seven, and eight, and then people who like maybe one, two, or three, they like all the original ones. There's like two sorts of camps here. So
Right.
I personally like the originals. Two is my favorite. Code Veronica is also one of my favorite. One is up there. I didn't like four that much. I thought it
Really?
just changed too much, and I don't know if you plan on playing seven and eight as well. I don't like seven and eight. I think they're too. Eight is very. They're good horror games. Okay, they're good horror games. Don't get me wrong. I would love if they said this is not Resident Evil. This is just a game that came out. It's called something The Village or whatever. I'd be like sweet. But as a
Yeah.
Resident Evil game, it just doesn't to me keep the story like the way they've gone too far, like off the wall. They've got you'll see some of the characters. It's like not zombies anymore. It's just mutant powers, and it's just
So
weird.
I really you didn't mention the two. I played Resident Revelations 1 and 2. I love those. What are
Okay.
your thoughts on those?
I don't think I've actually played those. Are those on Wii, right? Or
They're
what?
on Wii U, 3DS, the Switch has them as well,
I think I
PS4.
maybe played the first one. I haven't, I can't remember off the top of my head how it was. I love all the Resident Evil games. I don't think that, if I remember correctly, that one wasn't good. Dead Aim was not that great, honestly.
Okay, yeah, it's on PS2. Yeah,
Survivor
yeah.
was terrible. I don't recommend Survivor for anyone. And then they have the Umbrella Chronicles is another one. I've not played because I don't play handheld games, but I've heard the one on DS is pretty good. It's like a remake of Resident Evil 1.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think it's called like Deadly Silence.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard that one's really good too. So, but you're in for a treat. There, that if I could play those again for the first time, that would be awesome. There's just something
yeah.
about playing that and learning the story. So, enough about Resident Evil. We got to move on. I could talk about it for days. Favorite console of all time?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, because of just the nostalgia
Just
and everything, right?
that was the one that brought me into the world of games.
Okay. Favorite game of all time? Just one.
It's tough. Just one. I
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
two.
No, no. First one that pops in your head.
Turtles in Time.
Okay. What do you think? What about Hyperstone Heist? Because, they're different, but they're similar, right? So how do you feel
Um,
about Hyperstone Heist?
I never played it fully. I actually never played it more than like 10 minutes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have it, but just I have so much stuff. I haven't had a chance to play everything, and
Yeah.
just Turtles in Time is the go-to one, you know?
Yeah. Do you like the other Ninja Turtles games for NES, the arcade game and
Oh
then
yeah,
the
dude,
first one?
the arcade one's good. The first one
Yeah.
is a little hit or miss, but the arcade one is great. Even the Game Boy one. I know you don't play handheld games, but the Game Boy one, and Back from the Sewers are both pretty good.
I played one because I did have some Game Boy games when I was younger. It was like Radical something, TMNT Radical Sewer. I don't know. There's
I
some,
might. There's Fall
yeah.
of the Foot Clan, which is the one that's
Oh,
really good. That
that
might
might
be
be
it.
it. That might be
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah. But something about Radical was on the cover. I remember, but those are all good games for sure. All right, I like to ask people this question because I like to find these games and play them. What's the worst game you've ever played?
Worst game. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
this is easy.
Okay. Good. I like
Like
that.
2 weeks ago, after my daughter beat Astrobot with me, she was like, "What else can we play on the PS5?" And I only have like 5 or 6 PS5 games, and many of them aren't really like kid geared. So I go
Okay.
upstairs to the game room and I'm looking at the PS4 games. I'm like, what can we play? And she's like, oh, Goosebumps, Goosebumps. I watched that with mommy on Disney Plus, with Jack Black. Let's play Goosebumps. And I hated it, man. It was
Yeah.
horrible. Like, it was just so clunky. And I kept getting like caught by these clowns and this creepy like zombie girl. Like, it was not a fun. And it killed me because she wanted to play it so bad. And
Yeah.
I'm like, honey, I keep dying. Like, this isn't fun for me. I'm like, you can try to play it if you want, but I'm gonna stop.
Did she enjoy it at least?
So she enjoyed it. My wife actually looked up like a YouTube tutorial how to get past the parts we were
uh,
stuck on.
okay.
Um, but we ended up getting to the end of it. I beat the final level with her, which was fun because I was finally done with that silly
Oh
game.
yeah, don't have to play it
It,
anymore.
yeah, yeah, man.
Was Jack Black in it?
No, this was
Oh, okay.
before that game.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
before that
Okay.
movie. I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Yeah, that movie
But
came out a few
it
years
was
ago.
yeah, it was just coincidental that I had a Goosebumps game and she was watching that.
I used to read those books all the time when I was younger, but it's saddens me that the game's not very good. So,
Yeah, no, it wasn't a good game. I think it's called Night of the Living like Dummy, I think.
oh yeah, that was one of the books. I think there was a
Yeah,
book called Night of the Living Dummy. So,
yeah, but the game was not like the book. It was, I mean, I thought it was
got it.
horrible.
All right, got it. What's the most difficult game you've ever played, or maybe the most difficult level specifically in a certain game?
You know what? Recently, in terms of like a tough game,
Hmm.
this one I think is up there. This is what I was playing on GameCube recently, Rogue Leader.
Okay, I've not played that one, but I know of
For
it.
some reason, so many of the levels in this game are like beyond hard for no reason at all. I don't know why. 64 Rogue Squadron was awesome. The Naboo game,
Hmm.
Rogue whatever that was, Battle for Naboo was great. But when I went to GameCube, Rogue Leader just notoriously difficult, and I don't know why. Even like
And this is
reviews
a
say this is very hard for no reason
oh
at
yeah,
all.
it's a flight kind of game where you're flying around in
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
you're like
starship or
flying
something.
like
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So
Okay.
might not be the most difficult game I've ever played, but this is the most difficult game that I've played recently that I want to just throw the wavebird at
Just
the
throw
TV.
it. Okay. All right. Very cool. What about your favorite multiplayer game of all time?
Um Multiplayer game.
Yeah. Are you big into multiplayer games at all, or not really?
In terms of like difficulty or just my favorite
No,
of all
just
time?
that you love to play. Yeah, one that you've played and put a lot of hours into. Like Call of Duty, maybe
Oh,
Halo.
oh man,
GoldenEye.
Halo 1. Halo 1,
Yeah,
without a doubt. Just beating every single campaign on all the campaigns and all the difficulties, and then beating the mall level to get the alternate ending.
yeah. Did
I did
you?
that co-op with my buddy Justin back in like
Okay.
seventh, eighth grade. Yeah.
Did you guys have LAN parties as well? Was that a thing for you all?
So we didn't have like a full-fledged LAN party, but there was
Okay.
one time where we hooked up like two Xboxes together. It's just to see like how it worked.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what multiplayer gaming online is like so much. It's changed the game, right? So everything's like online. You can play. Like I love multiplayer games. What's your favorite genre of game? So are you an RPG guy, a fighting game? Like what's your?
I'm definitely not an RPG guy.
Okay, same.
I would say like shooters or action adventure games, you know?
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
very cool. I always like to ask what advice that you would have for people who are starting to get into collecting. Maybe they don't know where to start or they don't know what they're doing. So, what's one thing you wish you knew when you started?
Um, you know what? I'm gonna say, I mean, you might hear this a lot, but just like collect what you want to collect, right? Like so many
Yeah.
people are like collecting like expensive things just to have them and never play them, which is sort of silly. I mean, I have so many things in my collection that I don't want to get rid of because I know I'm never gonna find them again. But like
Hmm.
in terms of if I had to scale my collection down, um, and keep like 20 games from each system, it would be stuff that I
Hmm.
play with my kids every day, which is stuff
Hmm.
that I enjoy playing, stuff that I look forward to playing after a hard day at work. It would just be collect what you love. If you're doing this for like an investment side of things, which is silly to say, I just feel like no matter what, like these games, they seem to be keep going up in price. So like, don't even worry about like collecting things for the price of it. Just collect what you love. Be happy with your collection. Like I'll never get rid of that kiosk. Like I'll get rid of all that stuff
Right.
before I get rid of that kiosk, because
Yeah.
I love that thing, man. So it
Yeah.
would just be like collect what you love, like don't hoard stuff just to hoard it. Um,
Yeah.
but just keep stuff that you're gonna want to play and you enjoy like the replay value of.
Yeah, that's good. I think I that's one of there's a couple things I hear a lot of, and that's one of the main ones. So you have a couple social media accounts. You're pretty active on Instagram mostly, right? Under Retro Gaming Zone.
Yeah, Instagram is my most populated social media page. I do have a
Okay.
YouTube account as well. I don't really post on there too much. I do
Okay.
want to get more into like the video making space in the future, so maybe keep an eye on that.
So
I do have a TikTok. I think it's like underscore retro gaming zone, but I'm not really too
okay.
big on there. But Instagram is 100% where I'm at 95% of the time during the day.
So Instagram is where we can see your claim sales, right? And then also you show some pictures of some of your stuff in your collection as well.
Yep, yep.
Okay, okay. And then what kind of stuff did you have on YouTube when you were posting things?
It was actually just like come along for the ride with me to come pick up this like game lot type of stuff, where
Oh,
I was
okay.
like it was kind of cool, just like you sit like
That's fun.
shotgun to like
Yeah.
game scoops, stuff like that.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, everybody, again, this has been a great episode. Like always, we've seen some cool stuff. I've never seen an Xbox kiosk, so that's awesome. I love seeing stuff that I've never seen before. So that's like the
Thanks,
main thing
man.
that I like to see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's got a great collection. If you want to follow him, if you want to buy some games from him, go to
Yeah.
Retro Gaming Zone on. Oh, he's got his own shirt. I need to get one of those. I got to get one of those
Yeah.
with my face on it. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Make sure you follow Retro Gaming Zone on TikTok, which he doesn't really use. Make sure you follow his YouTube, which he's going to start using again, and then Instagram, which is his main account. And then make sure you
Yeah.
like and follow this account, share this, follow, like, subscribe, do all that stuff so I can make more content because I want to, and this is fun, and I like talking to new people and showing off new stuff. Tune in next week, and we'll have another episode of Video Game Collectors on Call. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, man. This is awesome.